Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RedSeaPodcast. Welcome back to another Euroleague talk, and perhaps one of the most important ones of the season. And as always, this is Dennis coming to you relatively early in comparison to the rest of the episodes, but with how things came to be schedule wise, I felt like a nice little coffee talk per se about how last game went and how the regular season ended was more than a must. And honestly, there is a lot to clear. It may not be that many general points, but there is still a lot to clear. I hope you all are having a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or wherever and whenever you're watching. And let's actually get into it slowly but surely. As of course, 2 days ago, Olympiacos finished off the regular season with quite a comfortable win against Olimpia Milano. The score may not really show it, but I feel like the team didn't really just turn the engines up completely and still got almost a double-digit victory against a team that I feel like Olympia plays too unorthodox, if that makes sense. It's not Paris levels of just chaos ball, but it still feels very, very unorthodox. I mean, come on, Butcher was just chucking threes at some point. And exactly as I said at halftime of that game, the threes weren't going to go in online. Like, that's not. If they have anything similar to Paris, it's the fact that they play non-sustainable basketball, if that makes sense. Like, I really don't see how their type of basketball can really be sustained in any way, which honestly showed once again. Of course, all that meant that Olympiacos will finish the regular season first, once again for the third time in a row, and we'll have to wait and see the opponents that we will have to face, as we of course now know the 4 teams that are gonna be the play-ins, which is of course Pana taking on Monaco and Zvezda taking on Barcelona. The winner of Pana Monaco will advance and go on to face Valencia in the playoffs, and the loser of Pana Monaco will go on to face the winner of Zvezda and Barcelona, and the winner of that will have the unfortunate honor of coming to the Peace and Friendship Stadium to play us. Now, it's probably the expected outcome. I don't think anyone else really expected the Plains to be any other team. I don't think anyone else really expected that Zalgiris would realistically drop. At least I didn't. I really saw no scenario in which Zalgiris would have lost that game. Perhaps the most unexpected game out of all of the last match day was the Monaco win. I really didn't expect the Pana win made much more sense in my eyes than the Monaco win because Hapoel got obliterated. And we are talking about the team that's in the playoffs. So yeah, the last match days are always weird. We knew that. But stuff, on a general note at least, went as expected. Now, of course, the confirmed series are Real Madrid facing the aforementioned Hapoel Tel Aviv, and what's probably going to be the most unpredictable series in the playoffs, Fenerbahce facing Zalgiris. Now, if we go back to the plains, I do want you all to tell me who you prefer as an opponent. I do want you all to tell me who you think we're gonna face, and I really want you to tell me what the outcome of that matchup you are predicting will be. In my eyes, at least, I very sadly think we'll face Monaco. I see Pana beating Monaco and going on to face Valencia. I don't think it will be as easy as people expect, but I really think Pana are going to go on and win and face Valencia. I think Zvezda see out to win against Barcelona, and I think ultimately Monaco beats Zvezda. That's how I see the playoffs going. Now, is that going to be the case? Maybe, maybe not. But if we go on to once again face Monaco, as traumatic of an experience as it can be considered, I think, and again, I'm knocking on all the wood around me, I think it will be a relatively easy series. And that's not to disrespect the quality that Monaco have. They've proved me wrong once already and very recently at that. But the depth that AS Monaco have, I don't think that it can realistically hold up in a series. Again, I'm really not saying that we're going to have a sweep. I think Monaco get one, but I don't think it will go game 5. I really don't see it going game 5. But we'll see. We need to wait until next week, and we'll see how stuff ends up going, honestly. But reeling everything more back into the game, as I said before, it relatively was a call-ish victory. Like Armani never really got any breathing room. They took the lead like once, maybe twice. But ultimately, we saw out the game quite comfortably at that, with the first half being a bit more even, as it of course ended 45-43. But we saw out the game basically in the third, and despite the lesser performance in the fourth, no real threat really came up, honestly. Stats-wise, let me actually make sure I don't say any mistake. Yeah, relatively we were okay. In general, as we had a field goal percentage of about 46%, One thing I do want to point out is that we didn't miss a free throw, which for all the flashbacks I'm sure everyone got, it's perhaps one of the most unmentioned, but one of the most important factors heading into the playoffs. If we go games without even having to think about the free throws costing us, as they have many times before, mind you, it's another huge difference comparatively to the last few years. We went 17 from 17 free throw wise. Of course, one thing that I don't even know if it's worth mentioning is the rebounding, as we had 9 offensive rebounds and 31 defensive rebounds, 13 of which were Nico Milutinov's. And we'll get into that in a bit because Milu deserves a statement of his own. As always, 22 assists, a very respectable, very good number. Single digits on the turnovers, which I'm happy about. It could have been even less, but it was 9. And 6 steals, which is a very, very calm game, especially given the factor of the last game of the regular season, right? And I said we'll get into Nico Milutinov in a bit. But before we get into Nico Milutinov, I want to talk about this man. Sasha Vezenkov. What a year. What a season. What a point that has not just been proven, a point that has been absolutely shattered to pieces. Right? There is nothing to say about this man. There was doubts at the start of the season, even I didn't doubt Sasha. I'm gonna go back to what I said and probably say it about as verbatim as it gets. I wanted more from Sasha Vezenkov. In a sense of which that up until like mid-November, we weren't seeing the Sasha that we knew we could. And then it felt like a snap of the fingers, and the rest of the season just flew by. With Sasha barely going below 20, with Sasha breaking records left, right, and center, and with Sasha, of course, getting the top scorer trophy with 661 points with a 19.4 average. And in addition to that, he was number 1 PIR, averaging, mind you, 23.1, which is unbelievable. Averaging 23.1 on the rating is unfathomable, not just unbelievable. And then you see the points. 661 with 19.4 per game. And if you take out that like month and a half of not even underperformance, right? Underperformance in regards to Sasha Vezenkov's standards. It's not even a regular underperformance because there's nothing regular about Sasha Vezenkov. What's there really to say? You have a man that came back with a vengeance. You have a man that came back last year as a hero. And then what happened. And the team needed to regroup. Everyone needed to find themselves. Mistakes needed to be corrected, per se. And then you come into this season. And looking back at the season with the most games, looking back at the season in which, honestly, I don't know if it was the most chaotic or the most competitive, or both. You could have had a lot of things happen. Sasha just came in and put in arguably his best season ever. He makes it look so regular, so easy. But the matter of fact is simply that when this man's on his day, he's the best there is. You're not even getting close to him when he's on his day. And I know that some people like to fool themselves and say that they need to be the MVP because they create the chances that they get. And I love Silvano Francisco. I really do. He's a wonderful player. He's an incredible player. But there isn't a single chance in the universe that he deserves MVP more than Sasha Vezenkov this season. And you can see that from the fans, not counting Panda fans, from the players, from everyone's vote. Sasha is near unanimous. And who can deny that this man deserves MVP? And he's not even the only one that really made the case from our end, but he's certainly the one that made the best one. And I've not even gotten to his stats from last night, where he had 24 and let me actually see if he had a steal. Yeah, he had 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals to his name. All that in 27. And that's a calm night. That's a game that really was shut down from like minute 5. I really don't know what else to say. Like, there is no better case for this man to be MVP. There's no better case for MVP than Sasha Vezenkov. In my eyes, that's undeniable. Honestly, in my eyes, that's undeniable. Speaking of undeniable, speaking of the top rebounder in the Euroleague regular season with 250 rebounds, averaging 7.1 per 22 minutes, and his stats in total are 10.6 points, 7.1 rebounds, 1.4 assists. Of course, all these are per game. 0.7 steals, 0.6 blocks, 69.2% from the mid-range, 79.2% from the free throw line, and 20.1 PIR. And again, all that is while averaging 22 minutes per game. That's including the injury. That's including the thumb injury. And last night, as I mentioned before, he had one of the most insane double-doubles I've seen with 13 points, 15 rebounds, 13 of which were defensive, 1 assist. Is there and just 1 turnover, of course. I love how there's people who doubted him from our end, and I think this is my biggest claim to an I told you so moment of the season, because I remember the convo last summer when we were talking about, should he renew, should he go, Armani this, Panathinaikos that, and then he renewed, and people were doubtful, and I was one of the very few people that said that Nico Milutinov as a starter will be the undeniable most dominant, best big in the league. And that's exactly what happened. He left Eddie Tavares in the dust. And that says a lot, because that's Tavares we're talking about. And he put up not just an incredible season, a career season. He had a career year, and I feel like, in general, I feel like in the playoffs, everyone will show a side of themselves that they haven't. Like, mentality-wise, playoffs and Final Four, I'm more confident, not comfortable, because it's the playoffs and it's the 5th straight Final Four. But I'm more confident than ever that everyone will play like absolute beasts. Like, I don't think we'll see even close to what we saw last year. I feel like everyone will give it their all. That includes Nico Milutinov. And we know what can happen when Nico Milutinov doesn't just play at 100%, but at 110, 120, and so on and so forth. He's unguardable, he's unmatchable, and there is, honestly, there is very, very few things that can stop this man. And he's shown it throughout 38 games. He'll show it for 5 or more. Why he's the best there is in his position. And that's, again, for me, that's not even a convo. Honestly, I feel like that's not even a convo. And speaking of not even a combo, speaking of the most improved player, like if that was an award, again, we'd not even be having a conversation here. And speaking of perhaps the one player whose performance alone will deem half our success this season, that's Tyler Dorsey. Tyler, who last game, I was going to say last night, but no, it was 2 nights ago. Tyler, who last game had 18, 3, and 3 in 27, of course, as well. Tyler, who's had another career season, same as Nico Milutinov, same as arguably Sasha Vezenkov. This man is arguably the X factor of our campaign. This man and his performance will deem a lot of things. If Tyler plays like he has all season and then some, we'll see basketball like we've never seen before. I've said this before. There is 2 or 3 people above the rest whose performance will show us a lot of things. The main one is Tyler. If Tyler plays well, then the rest of the team just skyrockets. Second one is Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph has emerged out of nowhere as the undeniable second point guard of this team, behind Thomas Walkup. Corey Joseph has once again shown us what it really means to be an old school point guard. Corey Joseph has shown us why he has almost 1,000 NBA games. And as he said himself, he's focused on one goal. He has no socials. He's working to get physically better day by day, and that's showing. And we're talking about a guard that can give stuff to this team that no one else can. So he's number 2. And of course, number 3 is perhaps our most informed player after Tyler Dorsey, and that's Donta Hall. If Donta's called upon, which he will be for sure, in the Final Four especially, and he does this, he's a game changer. So especially those 3, if they're on their 9, and as I basically am calling, if they play at 110, 20, and so forth %, I feel like we'll see a show, and not just a basketball game. But to go back to X Factor, this month, Mustafa Fall. It's been an emotional ride. Seeing Moose return, get games, get fit again, get time again. The welcome home he got at Seth last night was unbelievable, even though he honestly deserved even more. And Moose, he's a game changer in and of himself. An absolute monster of a player. The defensive pillar of Olympiacos for the last few years. And while he may not be a factor in the Euroleague itself, having a presence like Musfal, fit and ready to play in the GBL, perhaps, getting to basically replace someone of the bigs and have him fully rested for the Euroleague plays as much of a factor as he would if he was a regular Euroleague. Just piece of this incredible puzzle. Everything plays a part. Absolutely everything plays a part now. And getting back to, again, everything playing a part, getting back to Corey Joseph. I saw someone saying that Corey is the one that will get the majority of game time when the Final Four comes around, when the playoffs come around. And I hear it. Honestly, I disagree, but I hear it. In my eyes, Corey Joseph is still the undeniable second point guard of Olympiacos. I don't think he can, right now at least as things stand, I really don't think that he can stand to guide this team for 25 minutes. But if the playoffs come around and the man's in even better form, him competing with Thomas for that starting position, and we know how absolutely incredible of personalities both of them are, will only benefit the team. Them at the top of their game, just having basically two active starting point guards will be unbelievable, especially with how well they complement each other in their game. Just another piece of the puzzle that I feel like will be incredible. And speaking of another very, very important factor in the playoffs, Seth was shaking. I was looking at my TV in awe. The team deserves it, right? They do. Of course they do. But seeing the fans just gradually take steps up throughout the season, and right before the playoffs, seeing the best atmosphere of the year just got me even more hyped. Because I know, and I've been saying this, I've been screaming this off the top of my lungs, that if Seth is at the best it can be, fans-wise, with Olympiacos, of course, having the most passionate, the most fierce fan base in Europe, there is no better definition of home court advantage, first of all. And secondly, I'm even more confident that there is no team that can beat Olympiacos in a series. With Seth like that, never, ever that. And even better, the team's gonna get a morale boost from second one, from jump ball. And I got so happy. I honestly got so happy. The team, of course, in which broke another record that we really glossed over, and I don't know why. The team just got 26 wins in the regular season. 26-12 was the record, which of course is a franchise record. It was with 25 wins as well. The team's more complete than ever, and it really feels like the team's more ready than ever. And I mean, I didn't mention how many people. I didn't talk about Evan. Who Evan Fournier, I've seen a lot of doubt towards, and I really don't agree because the same happened last season. Right before the playoffs, there was doubt towards what Evan Fournier can do, and then he played in the playoffs and he played like his prime self, and he'll do the same again. I'm expecting absolute airstrikes up to Evan Fournier. I'm expecting to see Tony Parker at his prime. But yeah, in more seriousness, I believe in Evan a lot. I know that people have called me biased, and perhaps you're right, given that this man is one of my favorite players, like, ever. But I believe in Evan, and I believe in his undoubtable ability to perform when the ball's the hottest. Right? So I feel like he'll be of major help. And speaking of being of major help, the energizers of the team, and I'm so glad that nickname has stuck. Zach McKissick and Tyson Warren. Zach McKissick, of course, that started getting chances again due to injuries, getting more time, and he proved himself to be, as always, of vital importance. Zach has had an incredible season. In hindsight, Zach has had a wonderful season, and if it wasn't for him, perhaps this wouldn't be our record in such an unpredictable season. And there have been a lot of moments where we've seen the Zach of old. There have been a lot of moments where Zach has been better than before. And I know he'll get time in the playoffs, and I know he deserves it. And Tyson again. Tyson has spoken about the effect Tyson has both on the fans and on the rest of the team. And I'll say it again, it really is very Papanikolaou-ish. He has a leadership effect. He loves being here. He adores this club, and that shows. He enjoys his basketball, enjoying his basketball as much as perhaps Donta Hall, that's smiling every two plays. And this team's a family, honestly, and I couldn't be happier. And I didn't speak about this. I wanted to. Speaking about Donta Hall. Donta, of course, was on absolute fire on the game against Armani. He put up 14, 5, and 1 in 14 minutes, which in and of itself is just a mind-blowing stat. But despite him being on absolute flame, as Coach B said, he asked for Nico Milutinov to get more game time so he could get the rebounds needed to finish as a top rebounder in the regular season. And if that doesn't show you how much of a family Coach Bartzokas has created, I don't know what will. So I'll finish today with the statement that Coach Bartzokas himself said, anyone in this league should be avoiding us. There's no opponent that we should avoid. As always, thank you all so unbelievably much for the support on all platforms. Of course, if you like what you see, just like, subscribe, the usual. All the links you need are down below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend if you're watching this close to when it's being streamed. And I'll see you all probably tomorrow night after a very chaotic football derby. So as always, thank you.